this just the start? Are we headed for more pain in crypto Bitcoin? Trying to respond here, but will we just get thrusted back to the downside? Fears over recession, fears over wider global pullback and pain. What am I doing in this market? How am I navigating? Loads to get into. I can feel the sentiment shifting. I can feel the upset in the market. I can feel the blame game starting to come up again on crypto Twitter. Now is the time to stay level-headed, guys. I've got a very important video which I'll be uploading later on my other channel, going into a deep dive on how to handle these market downturns, right? How the wealthy actually build money. I'm going to give you a little nugget from that video right now. Remember, recessions, pullbacks, they do not destroy wealth. Wealth does not get destroyed. It just gets transferred. It gets transferred from the impatient to the patient, from the weak hands to the strong hands, from the less, sophisticated investor to the more sophisticated investor. Are you going to be a statistic? That's my reminder for you guys here today. You can see Bitcoin trying to respond, right? Trying to respond. And we saw similar thing yesterday where we ran as high to 84, but then as low, we closed back at 78. So please don't get caught up on these crazy swings on Bitcoin. This is one of the reasons I've been warning against leverage over the last period of time here. You can see this is the kind of thing that's going to get you wrecked. So you're seeing the Asian markets, and here in Dubai, the price action is quite strong, right? We're seeing that we're up 3.3%. But when UK starts waking up, when you then get the US waking up, by the time this video is probably posted, just don't be surprised to start seeing that sell-off continue, because if you look at the traditional markets in the pre-market, they continue to be falling. There's no kind of strong footing just yet. I mean, you've got likes of Tesla down 50%, guys. And the reason I bring that up is people are getting worried that, oh no, crypto is a scam. And guys, crypto is down. If I go from this period here from 110, granted, it is down 25%. Tesla is down 50%. The likes of Meta, Microsoft, a lot of these companies have got absolutely spanked on the NASDAQ. So this is not a crypto specific thing. I think that's the first thing you need to understand, which hopefully everybody is clear on. This is a wider market dynamic, right? This is to do with Trump and his protectionist stance towards the US, him closing trade with many other countries, upsetting many other countries. So not only is he upsetting, the other half of the US, he's upsetting Canada, Mexico, China, all the other countries, of course, Europe, with the whole thing going on with Russia, Ukraine, and Zelensky as well. This is a period where Trump is going through the eye of the storm. And his view, which is what he said, which kind of spooked this kind of sell-off, is look, things may get worse, right? We're going through a transitory period. He didn't rule out a recession. And I think that's one of the reasons where you're seeing this market just kind of sense check itself to say, were we too trigger happy? Were we too euphoric? Were we too excited to expect that Trump was just going to come in and we're going to go to the moon? Now, I've shared my stance on this, that I think personally, Trump is trying to be quite smart here. He's getting all the dirty laundry out. He's doing all the aggressive negotiating play in a period where he could still blame the previous administration. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if that narrative's working for him, because everybody's blaming Trump for this, right? You're seeing the memes go around that, we wish Biden was still in power, because people really thought that Trump would come in and be pro-business and pro, the stock market and pro-crypto, and that we'd be booming to the top side. I still think he is. I don't think anything fundamentally has changed. I don't think it's rational to think that Trump will not be pro stocks and pro crypto longer term. I also think Trump understands who his voting base are, right? And that his voting base are not necessarily the beneficiaries of all this stock market wealth. Now, granted, some of those stock market people continue to support him, but he understands that this newer voter base of his, the younger voting base, may not necessarily be invested in crypto, may not necessarily be investing in the stock market. So he wants to make sure that, he's building from the ground up. And I wouldn't be surprised to see us have a stronger later half to the year, maybe even going into next year, where we start to see the Fed have more optionality, right? And I think that's fundamentally the situation we're facing right now. We're in a situation where the Fed, up until now, has said, you know what, we're not going to cut rates. We're not in a position to. The economy is too strong. Too much is going in our favor. How can I cut rates? How can I ease monetary policy? And Trump, on the other hand, is going, hang on. The only way I'm going to win favor by the average person is to bring their mortgage payments down, to bring inflation down, to put money in their pocket, to bring their car payments down. And the only way I'm going to do that is by getting these rates down. But the Fed can't do so without a reason. They need reason to bring it down. And maybe, just maybe, Trump is being a little bit smart here and trying to give them the reason that they need, right? Of course, he wants to play his geopolitical game. Of course, he needs to use his negotiating tactics in terms of the tariffs and everything he's doing. But it might just kill two birds with one stone, where him being so aggressive here on this front in terms of the tariffs also brings a little pullback in the markets, correction territory, right? I mean, let's take a look here at the traditional markets. Let's actually take a look at, let's see if we can take a look at the NASDAQ, right? If we take the NASDAQ here and just try to measure it, we're about, just roughly speaking here, 12% down. That's not crazy. I mean, if you're talking coming down 20%, even 30%, I mean, 20% brings you down here to 432 on the NASDAQ. This would be painful, right? This would be a painful pullback. I mean, if we go back here to this period, let's measure this move on the NASDAQ. And again, you guys may not like that I'm looking at traditional markets. This is a 15% pullback, which we saw in August of 2024. Let's go back to this period here, which started in July of 2023. That's a 12% pullback. So you see these bigger pullbacks in the market. Now, of course, if we go back into 2020, 2021, you do get meaningful pullbacks. You know, I don't think this is terrible. I don't think this is terrible. In fact, I think there's still more room for prices to come down. If we just take a look back again here on Bitcoin, and you guys will know that ever since we were at 110, without the whole tariff and recession debate, I said, guys, I expect to pull back to 72 to 74. That's without everything going on. So, you know, if we're still here at Bitcoin trying to bounce from 80,000, showing okay strength, even though I still think we'll come down to 72 to 74, I don't think that's too bad. I think it's actually healthy longer term. Now, the question that's going to arise is, how bad does this get? Will we fall down to 60? Will we start losing some of those price targets? And I'm going to share my take on it. If we bring out the EMA ribbon here on Bitcoin, we're here deep in the weekly EMA ribbon, right? If we lose the weekly EMA ribbon, which is 75,000, if we lose a weekly candle below that 75,000, which also indicates we start closing below the previous all-time high, right? When we created that high just short of 74,000, then I start to get worried. Then medium to longer term, we've lost the weekly EMA ribbon. We're going to go into a longer stretch of pain here on crypto. Until then, even though things are worrying and scary in the market, I can't flip bearish just yet, right? I can't flip bearish away from the trend. Yes, we called this pullback nicely, but this pullback is not a change of trend. The trend on the weekly chart here is still owned by the bulls, right? We're down here, like I said, 20, 25% here on Bitcoin coming into the EMA ribbon. That is not the end of the world. What starts to become more painful is if we lose that weekly EMA ribbon, we start going into sideways territory here, and things start to get more painful for a longer period of time. Now, this could change overnight, right? This is the crazy thing about what we got going on here with Trump is this could easily change. He can come out and say, oh, look, I've struck a negotiation with Canada and China and Mexico, and we're all good, and he can start pumping the market again. So the way I'm handling this market right now is to nibble in, right? We have no guarantees. Any YouTuber or any other influencer on crypto Twitter is telling you, oh, we're going to come to this exact price point, and then we're going to, V-shaped recovery. They don't know what they're talking about. The fact of the matter is we don't know right now. And so if I'm allocating in this market, I'm doing so in nibbles. If I want to put in, let's say, I'm just using round numbers, 10K, I'm not putting 10K in right now because we could wake up tomorrow and be down at 74. We could wake up the next week and we could be down at 70 flat, right? Things could get painful quite quickly. So I'm nibbling that way. If we do start bouncing from the CMA ribbon, which, by the way, if we do bounce here, how obvious would that be in hindsight, right? We'll look back in months from now and be like, wasn't that obvious? It was a pullback into the EMA ribbon, the bulls bought it, we bounced here and had a nice extended move up to 120, and Trump started becoming positive again. It's going to look obvious, which is why it's important for me to follow my principles of buying the dip in the EMA ribbon. Now, when I do so, I'm not oblivious to the fact that we may close below and we may flip bearish, and then I need to make sure I've got more cash on the sidelines to buy the dip more deeper, right? Buy the dip of the dip. And I think that's where people mess up. They go in on the first dip and they have nothing to buy supporting dips. You've got to nibble into your positions, right? Of course, not financial advice, but I nibble into my positions. I don't just go, oh, look, this is how much money I've got. I'm throwing it at this dip yesterday at 78,000. Well, what happens if we fall to 72? What happens if we fall to 68? What if we fall lower? Are you ready to buy the dip of the dip? That's what I'd be focused on right now. If you need to take overtime, take that overtime. Get out of margin. Get out of leverage. Get yourself ready for a deeper pullback. If it doesn't come, great. It's good that you got out of margin anyway. It's good you got out of leverage anyway. It's good you got cash on the sidelines anyway. If you need to take on that extra freelancer client, bring in that extra little bit of cash. Because let's face it, if you're buying Bitcoin now at 80 when it was at 110 a little while ago, We got a Bitcoin strategic reserve. You've got a pro-crypto government. You've got many governments and states looking to acquire crypto right now, right? Let alone institutions and balance sheets of institutions. This is not a time for me personally to be out of crypto. This is time for me to double down, to buy the dip, to get in, to take people's money. Remember, like I started the video off with, this is a transfer of wealth. If there are people panicking who were buying at 108, 109 and now selling at 79, let me take that crypto, right? Let me take that crypto off them because they should not have been chasing candles. They should be buying from periods of strength. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Extreme fear in the market. I need to put my money where my mouth is, and when the market is fearful, I need to do the work of buying. It's not easy, especially when you think the market's going to pull back more, but that little nibble approach is definitely going to help you. Hopefully you guys found this video useful. If you like this type of content, smash the likes. Do not forget to subscribe. Don't be despondent in these types of markets. These are the times to do work. When the market is green, like I told you, there's nothing to do. It's boring. You're either going to take profit or you're not. And if you didn't take profit at 110, now is probably not the time to take profit. That being said, like I said in yesterday's video, if you're the type of person that's going to panic if Bitcoin gets to 70 or 65, you might as well panic sell now. I said this in the last cycle when we went into a bear market as well. I gave the same warning. I'm going to give you guys the same warning again. If you're going to panic sell in another $10,000 from now, just panic sell now. Do yourself a favor and panic sell now. And I don't just mean on Bitcoin. I mean all the relevant altcoins as well. If you're going to panic sell 20, 30% from now, why not just panic sell now? Save yourself the pain. If you've not got diamond hands, you shouldn't be in that coin anyway. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.